a world where Chris Smith doesn't know how to hit the record button.
All right, everyone. Welcome to a abbreviated Guile treatment. We are going to run this one back real quick. Chris managed to lose our recording with Mark.
Yeah.
You will not get the deep insights into the attendance numbers of the Jersey PTC this weekend. But just know that it's happening.
Yep, it's happening.
So, Mark, you just won Nationals with Guile. That was totally Garrett Brett's idea. I know.
Well, as we found out.
And you won Kenosha with it, sans a few cards.
Yeah. He played in Kenosha, and he was like, Mark, I know you just beat me with Salinka. I don't know how. I don't know what Salinka does. Salinka's a bad character. Gil's not a bad character. If you want to win Nats, you should play this deck instead.
That's
and Mark was like, you know what, Garrett? I'm going to do it. That's how it went.
Where he told me I was really bad for playing multiple White Houses on my deck.
That sounds like something he would do.
That's key, because he saw me check 2 of them, and then he was like, why are you playing more than one White House? And I was like, I don't know, Mr. Greatest Player in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, when you just play that last time, you just be like, I don't know, but
then game 3 of them and was like, why am I playing 3 of this card?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, so
give us some breakdown about your rounds matches.
Quick thing, right? So, like,
quickly, yeah.
You know, Guile, what was it about him that you liked?
Yep.
You know, what sort of, I guess, like, the overarching, like, strategy of the deck? Any sort of, like, tough matchups? Yeah.
So, where I first saw Guile, one of our local players, Alex Couch, shout out, who just had a baby, he's been playing Guile since he got into the game, and I love playing against him when he plays Guile. It's a very I get to see the deck kind of progress. I was the first one to know how to build the deck when the character came out, and then like 2 other players saw me play it and went, that's cool, and built it, and then I was like, well, it's not cool anymore. I'm not the only one playing it, so I moved on. But Alex has been playing it for a long time now, and I get to see the deck progress with each set. And then when Spear Gun came out, I was like, wow, this deck's insane now. So I decided to play it. I almost played it at Omaha, but I thought he was showing up, so I didn't, and then didn't do well. I ended up playing Quan Chi. Showed up to Kenosha, did really well with it, and then modified it a bit for Nationals and showed up. Did really well in teams, and then in rounds, the only loss I had was to a mirror match, which was pretty rough. There was another Guile playing Skull, and I don't know if anyone here's played the Guile mirror match, but it's definitely not fun, because if someone's not playing Skull, no one dies. You go to time, or someone touches deadlock, which... Don't do either. Like, it's really bad. The Guile mirror match was not tested at the Jassel. Let me tell you. If they did, they would have been like, static would have been on the character that says, this character cannot be played against another character. Like, cannot be seeded into another Guile. But yeah, so went through Swiss, ended up taking 2nd in Swiss, which was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Luxact, against Corey Aguilar, just threw an attack he didn't have a block for after time was called. Got really lucky, squeezed my way into that 2nd spot in tops. Didn't have to play against Phil because Phil lost to my boy Richard Savoda, who just got bopped by Killick because Killick bops people. And then Killick got bopped by Guile because Guile bops people. And then played against my boy Scott Sudman, one of my favorite UFS players, just a boy in his PP, as I dub it.
You guys had an aggressive top 4, right? That the world will never know about. With
yeah, so I had videos. Those videos be seen nowhere else.
Oh, wow!
It's pretty funny. It's just me and him yelling at each other about response windows, and I'm pretty sure I told him to kill me like 4 times. I was like, just kill me, Scott Studman. Like, I had no foundations one game for like 3 turns because I wasn't building. I was just throwing at tags. We were just being animals to each other. I don't know how I walked out with a W on that one.
It was just fate.
It was like he played a swimming bird, and it was like an 11 mid, something ridiculous. It was like an 11 mid for my life total, and he was just looking down his hands, and he was like, he was talking to himself. He's like, Mark, why are you looking so cool right now? He's like, why are you not sweating? He's like, I guess you could have like a nightmare tears, and he hadn't seen it up to that point, but that was the only card in my hand, and I was like. It's like, this man got the reads. And then I played it, and he was like, before I played it, he was like, that'd be really embarrassing. And then I played it, he was like, oh. And then he like drew dead for 3 turns, and I killed him.
Yeah, no, we we had sort of said like when I saw Scott had won teams, and I was like, yeah, that's right. You know, he didn't have to go through Mark at any point because you know, like your all's team like didn't make top cuts, and then I was like, well, he lost in top 4 though. I think it was based on the bracket. I think it was probably against Mark. I was like, man, it's just one day, gonna keep. It's like Sisyphus, right? Just rolling the rock up the hill, and it rolls all the way back down.
Yeah.
So gotta wait for the next major to climb it again.
Worlds, because I told him if he was gonna lose another major to me, I was gonna do it from the inside. So our team is me, Shane Duckworth, and Scott Sudman, and I feel sorry for anyone that plays against us. Not because like
you guys need to do like a real lobby campaign and see if you can replace Shane with Phil Birch, and it would just be the absolute pinnacle of.
Never team with Scott Sudman in a million years. So we told Scott Sudman his one job is he's getting paired into Phil anytime we play them. I said, if we win the die roll, I don't even care about characters. You're going into Phil Birch, whatever he's playing. It's gonna be hysterical. We just got to figure out a name. We're all very colorful cats. I want it to be 2 boys in their pee-pee. Like, that's a pretty good name.
That's a pretty fantastic name in its own right.
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna meet the new family friendly requirements, but
that's true.
I think that's what happened with their name for this, right? That's why they ended up being like the like good Christian UFS, whatever it was or something. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but he's definitely a lot of fun. I love playing against Scott Sudman. He's one of my favorite UFS players. He's a colorful character. And then I got to play against one of my favorite UFS players again, Chris Nixon, in tops. And I thought I was auto losing that game, and then ended up doing very well against him. As skillful as a player as he is, my deck did just really well in the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I sacked 2 provokes on his kill turn.
I know. I was talking to Barrett, and he said that one of the strategies that you guys picked up in teams the day before was against decks that you knew were playing Tagoro Brothers. You would basically just like not use your foundations at all, like early in the game.
Barrett may figure that out the day before.
And to possibly just sort of like end up like clogging their hand with like Tagoros, or to or basically just like to not debuild yourself until you actually had like enough of a staging area that it didn't matter.
Yeah, so Barrett may have figured that out the day before. Mark Tyner did not figure that out until 5 minutes into his game with Chris Nixon. They left
some credit here.
Chinese food, JJ and Barrett did, which was fantastic of them. They're the real MVPs. I was starving. I hadn't eaten all day because I was so nervous. And I was playing Chris Nixon, and they're like, we're going to go eat Chinese food. What do you want? And then they left. They figured it out on the walk over, and I figured it out sitting down because I played something, and he was going to Tagoros it, and I had something better on board. He didn't, and this little light went off, and I was like, I'm going to tell Jedi he has -1 hand size for the rest of the game by not using any of these cards. So I didn't use my cards for like two games, and he had to sit there with like 2 Tagoros in hand the entire time. And it definitely helped in the matchup because I thought Tagoros was just going to rip my staging area apart, and I was like, what if I just pretend they're not there? I just pretended I was playing against Vicious the whole time. They're all flipped.
Yeah.
They weren't really there. They were just there to pass checks, and Guile and my attacks did enough. So
I don't know what's I guess I don't know too much about like Jetta's lineup. Like, does he run attacks that you can actually like gain life off of? Or I mean, obviously, I assume he's running like Spirit Gun, so that helps. But
I could gain life off Mob Strike, Spirit Gun, and Skull Barrier.
Okay.
And he played one of the Jetta reversal. He played Dita, which had 3 keywords.
Mm-hmm.
He played the Sangru, sacrificial, which has 4. So that was usually the only time I just ate 5 or 6 damage, and I gained it all back on my turn. And then so I gained off half his attacks, which I gained half off of everybody's attacks. It was pretty bad all day. It's real bad when you get, or real good when you get to play in a tournament and against some of your tougher matchups. When you're tapped out, you can still block stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
Playing Scott Subman, he played 2 swing birds on me one turn, and I all committed everything, and I was like, oh, I can block these.
So are those just ranged?
No, they're ranged and weapon. They're ranged.
Yeah, it's ranged weapon. So I my mastery speed gain too.
Right.
Yeah. That seems pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, it's not at all.
Which is why I was siding with a spike, because earlier I was testing playing Swimming Bird in my deck because I flipped so many things and just giving it over the 4 diff. I was just playing Swimming Bird, but I decided to side the Vengeances.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was just a call out to your favorite UFS player, PP himself. So, because he's always talking about Spike 1. So, I was just assuming that that's what I thought. That it was just like a call out for him.
So, 2 a.m. Mark was like, "Hey guys, big brain plays. What if I side a Vengeance or 3 Vengeances and a Spike and play that over my deck against the D-build decks because I'm a 7-hander and I can outbuild them?" And I play tested 1 game with it, and I was like, this seems busted. And I didn't have the balls to switch into it all day because I was winning games with Guile. So I was like,
that's fair.
I was like, why would I change?
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Yeah. Here in the previous recording, we talked about a really long tangent about safe attacks. We're not going to talk about safe attacks, and we're going to go right into our next topic. So
there you go. Oh, did you take notes?
No, I just remember that part.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
He remembers the PTSD of safe attacks.
Of safe attacks.
Long story short, there aren't really more attacks with safe. They're just better attacks.
They're just better attacks with safe nowadays. So
Chris just annoyed by all the safe attacks.
No, I'm not. I'm not annoyed by it. I play mostly safe attacks in my main deck. I'm just.
So what you're saying is you're part of the problem, all right?
Yeah, of course. Hey, if you can't beat them, join them. Okay, that's what you can say.
He was over here yelling about bug spray. Don't listen to him.
Yeah.
Slammed his head against the wall. It was awful.
Yeah.
Guys, it's really simple. Just play Zhanghua, and you don't have to worry about safe.
This is true. These are facts.
Those are facts. I got a text message from a buddy of mine who beat my budget Kodal list that I have. He's been playing it in Madison. He beat a guy playing Zhanghua with it.
Okay.
He must have just stunned the fuck out of her and then just booted her to, just frost hammered her to the moon and back. So
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
very cool.
It's doable.
Yes. But anywho, yeah. So, which one of your main strats was just loading up attacks like on turns 2 and 3 with just a shit ton of speed, and then like using confronting Jetta and other things just to pump your damage, right? I think that's what you said in the first time.
If the options was there to poke someone for 12 damage on turn 2 and know they couldn't do anything about it, like why wouldn't I? I just sit there. I'd be like, oh, this is a 4 diff. It's a 4 bit for 5. 4 speed, 3 speed, 7 damage, take your 12. And like there's nothing they could do about it. And then you do it the next turn, they actually still can't block it. And if someone overcame 12 speed on turn 3 to block something, it meant I could play the 2 shotguns in my hand and just kill them.
Yeah.
Like it was a bad idea to block Guile all weekend, even late game. Like people wouldn't block, not because they didn't want to take damage, but because like blocking a 9 speed attack is not good for your health.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I know. Like I played a Guile in I guess it was like our Premier Store tournament or whatever. And I was just playing like Midoriya. And first of all, on good, so like the only speed hate I really had was Water Boils, which it turns out is great against a lot of attacks in the format and absolutely miserable against Guile. Because he's like, I don't want to play keywords anyway.
Yep.
So worthless. And yeah, I mean, I guess really the only prayer was like cool and focused. Like, that works.
Yeah.
But even like some of his attacks, I mean, they're already going to be like 4 or 5 base speed. So like, yeah, like you pretty much end up where you're like, all right, I can probably block like 1 attack. And I really don't care about the attacks that are 5 damage because at some point he might throw a Soul Devour, and I really need to block that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where against Guile, like you almost like you're pretty much gonna let through like the attacks that are just like 4 or 5 damage because they're not like committing to block it just isn't worth it because of the attacks that might come afterwards. And so like he almost gets that like luxury of just throwing out like the like 4 or 5 damage move and just being like, "You're gonna block this?" And you're just like, "No." It's like, all right, I'll build 2. And then you just sort of
spear gun. Yeah. No one can block a spear gun against Guile.
Yeah.
Like turn 2 because it has 8 speed and you blow up something, so it has 9 speed.
Yeah.
And it's 6 damage. Like 6 damage is a very hefty toll turn 2 in one attack.
Mm-hmm.
And when I play 2 of them, or if I happen to build my one of Kali Yuga turn 1, which I did quite frequently, I could play 3 of them. Like it's just
Oh, fun.
No, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, and the thing is like his life gain is like so good that like he's gonna be able to sort of like gain life off of like the attacks that he doesn't care about blocking, and then like block the attacks he does care about, because like he'll either block the things that are like a lot of keywords, or he'll just like gain some life and then full block like some big damage move that like isn't a lot of keywords. And it's basically like what all the old decks felt like, when someone would just go a Fid Templar. Yeah. He's going to gain 2 life and then he's just going to full block it, and you're like, well, glad I spent resources on that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's definitely hard. Like playing Last of His Kind and playing it against like a spear gun, and they wouldn't blow that up. So I'd just be like, well, I guess I'll lose 2 for -4 damage, and then I'll gain 2, go back to full, and then I'll take 2 off your attack. Like, like the amount of times that card was just free because the attack had 2 keywords and was like a 4 damage or 5 damage attack. So I was just like, I'll just take 1 and have no other interaction with this. Because
it's not bad.
That's not horrible at all. It's a good trade-off. Very good trade-off. Nuts. It's busted, to quote Shane Goldworth.
Busted.
But yeah. So
this is your first cardboard, right? Or did you get some Teams cardboard?
No, this is my first one. I was pretty excited about it. Yeah. I think I remember telling JJ in the hotel that morning. I was like, "Hey, if I go the distance today, it's gonna be one of the best days of my life." So it was pretty exciting. I love the game a lot. So Shane says I play the game 7 days a week, which I used to. I probably play the game like 2 or 3 days a week now, which is more than a lot of players. And I do quite a bit of testing and playing with different combos, and I love the interactions in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the only players who's never seen any of the licenses. So, like, I don't play any of the games or watch any of the shows. I think I watched Cowboy Bebop after it came out. My Hero will be the first one I've actually seen before the set came out. Oh, so okay. Everyone asks me when I demo the game or get people into the game, they're like, "So, which do you like Mortal Kombat? You like playing the game?" We never played it. You like Soul Calibur? I'm like, never played it. You like Yu Yu Hakusho? I'm like, never seen it. Like, it's real awkward. I'm like, I just love the mechanics of the game. All the cards are so cool.
Yeah. That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
I mean, I guess I played like Mortal Kombat. I played like the only Soul Calibur I ever played was like Soul Calibur 2.
Me too.
Like back on like PlayStation 2, I guess.
Yeah.
PlayStation 1 maybe.
No, it was 2 because that's the one that had, I believe, it had Hayachi in it for the PlayStation.
Okay. But yeah, I played like Soul Calibur 2, and then like Mortal Kombat would have basically been like 1, 2, and 3 back on like. Like Genesis and like PlayStation stuff like that. And then I played like basically, I guess like the Street Fighter would have been like Street Fighter 2 and then like Street Fighter 3 and at the Alpha series. But like I haven't played like the next gen stuff. But yeah, I guess like the biggest one, honestly, like for Soul Calibur and like Street Fighter, I would say like my interest in those probably comes almost more from like the first sets of like UFS.
Sure.
When those were like the only licenses. So I hope that we can get like some some legitimately competitive Street Fighter characters again. I've been pretty disappointed that we haven't gotten either DLC or like another Street Fighter set. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it's such sort of like a staple license, or like could be. And maybe like some of that is just the like sort of the history of it. But I was a little bummed when we got like another Soul Calibur set for like Soul Calibur 6, and like
No Street Fighter.
I just want another I just want another like Street Fighter set.
Yeah. No, I get that.
This set looks really cool. I am very excited about some of the different mechanics you get to do in the set.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I was joking. Like, I know a couple of the characters are basically like the old versions of some of the Indians guys that are leaving. I know like Cassandra's R of like when you check an asset, like you can build it. That was like the old Runica had one like that, where it was like when she checked an asset, like once per turn, she could put it into play and you could unflip a foundation. And the thing was, though, is every time that she got hit, you had to flip an asset. So, like, you could get a bunch out, but if you started, like, taking damage, like, they would all go face down, and you'd have to, like, find a way to unflip them, or you'd have to, like, check another one to unflip. And then, like, I guess, like, Raphael is what Sherry, like, wishes her enhance was.
Yeah.
Man, poor Sherry.
Cherry baby.
I love Cherry.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, the set looks good. It's just, there's a few outliers in here and there in the set. Pure of Heart, I'm looking at you.
We're all looking at Pure of Heart.
Yeah.
Pure of Heart, Marrying Age.
Marrying Age, yeah. Yep. There's a few things.
People seem to be like losing their minds over Sung Mina's like ultra rare attack and her asset.
Okay.
I think her asset is literally like a 5-check version of a card that got banned. So
we'll see. Yeah.
What's
the ultra? Rando Spear Gun, right?
I don't know. Was it? Someone was talking to like, this isn't so bad. I played in 4-point. I was like, I did play in 4-point, but I get to play with 4-point reprints now. So
yeah,
we'll see if we can simulate the experience.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people aren't excited that we're going into 4-point land. So that's hopefully it's maybe we'll change out of that, but whatever. So anyway,
hey, worst case, we can just ban the cards all over again, right?
Yep, we can. Yep, that's true. All right. So congratulations, Mark.
Hold on.
What?
I think we, before we wrap things up, Mark, if you have any final words or any shout outs, maybe.
For my third time, Chris didn't want to record anything. Shout out to Legendary Wolf Games, my sponsor, for being such an excellent sponsor this year and helping me take the gold at so many events. Order all your singles there, so Shane Duckworth has something to do for a living.
So your nickname is Marco Nobody Guy. Are you now Mark?
I'm now Marco Somebody.
Somebody Guy? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You have to get a new
somebody. I won cardboard.
Are you gonna get a new mat that says Marco Somebody Guy? That's
when the new year comes out.
Yeah.
If Legendary Wolf wants to sponsor me again with my attitude towards Scott Sudman, apparently. They're gonna see the video. They're gonna be like, well, "No."
Mark you had a great year, and we want to thank you for your contributions. But I think we're really just going in a different direction. So.
We're gonna say
cardboard.
Good luck on your future endeavors, sir. Good luck. So we have picks. I'll post a picture of the picks up in the video, so we don't have to go over them again. So unless you guys want me to, so
that's all right.
The characters we picked. Well, yeah, I need someone to play Kadath at the event. That's all you need to know.
So Barrett went 9, X, and Guile with 0. So 9, X.
It's almost I was gonna say
Guile 0.
I almost X and Guile, but I was like, I'm not gonna be there. No one's winning with Guile.
Yeah. Hey man, someone may just take your list and go play it, so that could also happen. So
I had a few people asking for my list, and I was like, it's everywhere.
yeah,
I was like, they were like, but I just want ideas on it, and I was like, I'm cooking. I was like, let me finish cooking, and I'll send you my list.
I do. Yeah, I like that. Like, hey man, so I'm playing this list that you won with. Like, what would you change? It's like
people ask me that all the time.
It's like I won with it. Why would I change anything out of it? You know?
I mean, I understand like some of it. Like, hang on. Like if you're doing like a write up or like a tournament report or something, like there are definitely times where it'll be something where it's like, oh well, like this card like wasn't great, or like I wish like I ran more of that card or whatever.
Sure.
But it's like when you play the deck and you just like won nationals, it's one of those things where it's like, why would I worry about? Oh man, you know what card really just didn't work for me? But like it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Just
exactly.
sort of like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
I pretty much just told people, I was like, I wouldn't side Spike. Like,
yeah,
that'd be more stops or in Caliugas.
Sure,
like,
sure. And shout outs to Phil Birch for getting all the lists together. You're a hero.
Shout outs to Phil Birch.
Yeah. So, all right. Cool. So let's see if I can do this without deleting this entire recording again. So
no, not deleting it. You just didn't record it.
No, I think I did it wrong. I think I did it wrong the first time. But like, comment, subscribe, pay attention to all the YouTube stuff. We're coming out with some cool budget stuff. Hiei, Kurama, Chun-Li. Gonna expand on the Chun-Li to $60, then to a full $3,000 version of Chun-Li. We're gonna put diamonds on her, boys. They're forever. So, with that being said, have a good night. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all later in the next episode of the Guile Treatment. Hopefully, I don't delete it this time.